back giving another video. Ahsoka. I just finished the first 2 episodes. Well, I watched 1 episode last night, then I watched the other one, just shortly. I gotta say, I am impressed. I was apprehensive, to say the least, going into this. But after watching these 2 episodes and just getting a vibe from it that Rebels gave me, it's hard to explain. Rebels converted into live action, but yet for an older audience, it seemed as though it took itself very seriously, and that's something I appreciate. I feel there's been too much jokeable things in Star Wars, especially when it comes to live action stuff. Like, yeah, something funny here and there is okay. I mean, that's always been throughout Star Wars. But when a whole episode is a laughable joke, that's kind of like where I draw the line. Going back to what I was saying, I think this show has so much potential. And, mind you, we still have 6 episodes left. But I feel as though this could be the new standard of Disney Star Wars. If we have the right people in charge and the right people putting this stuff together, the things that could be made are exponentially better than anything we've gotten in the past 3 years. So I don't want to get into like an in-depth review / spoiler breakdown, because if you're watching this video, I assume you've watched it. But my first point I want to make is Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano looks much better in this series than it did in The Mandalorian, and I appreciate that. At first it was kind of hard to draw that line between Clone Wars and live action, but now I really feel like she gives a shit enough about the role that it blends very well, and I appreciate that. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, I think that's how you pronounce her name, does a great Sabine Wren. Mary Elizabeth Winstead does a great Harrison Dula. These were all skepticisms I had from watching the trailer, but seeing it in live action and seeing them perform, I'm honestly pretty content and pretty happy with it. Delay Ray Stevenson, I think he captures his character perfectly. And it's very, very disappointing that he is passed. So we don't know how that story is going to end. But I think his character does a great job. Morgan Elsbeth, she's the kind of the same as she was in The Mandalorian, dark, mysterious. Spoiler warning, we find out she's a Night Sister, which I think the speculation was always there, but that's cool. Chopper in live action, Chopper, he's badass. Probably, I would say number 2 coolest astromech droid, because you can't beat R2-D2, but he does have some tenacity. The big thing for me, the big staple for me now, another spoiler warning, is when I first come into this, when we first started getting all the teasers and all that, the concern was, is Sabine going to be force sensitive? Because if that was the case, that's going to be a big plot hole in Rebels, That would totally discredit Kanan and Ezra's, knowledge of the Force and their, if you can't tell somebody's force sensitive when you're training them in lightsaber combat, what does that say about you? So we pretty much have it debunked that she's not force sensitive. Professor Hugh Yang says that she's not force sensitive, so I appreciate that. She can be a badass. She's a badass Mandalorian. She can be a badass Mandalorian that uses a lightsaber. She can be a badass Mandalorian that uses a lightsaber being trained by a former Jedi. That's a mouthful, but I don't care. Call her Padawan, call Ahsoka Master. I don't care what you do, but don't try to put some loophole in there and say that she's force sensitive. Do all the other shit, I don't care, but I'm glad that they didn't try to retcon Rebels. Overall, those are my big things that really jumped out at me. I'm excited for next week's episode. I'm excited for the story to continue. As I said, I feel like it takes itself very seriously. Everything feels very competent. And that makes me super happy, and I appreciate that. I didn't want to jump on board this hype train and it's pretty sad that Disney has done this to us, where we're skeptical and apprehensive to jump on board with new projects. But, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you know, it's my fault. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna be doing this every week. Maybe things will look it up from here. I hope so. But anyway, check out the show if you haven't. Like I said, if you haven't, I kind of spoiled this for you. But check out the show if you haven't. I appreciate you watching. Check out more videos and see you guys.